Good morning. We have a slightly different system today, so you're not going to have a live capture, but you're going to be able to pick this up in a few minutes. Today we're going to talk about Kierkegaard, and I'm going to go over something that I did not make explicit in the lecture on Tuesday with respect to the aesthetic, the ethical, and the religious stages. Remember that those are theatrical stages, that we stage our life, we imagine our life, we picture our life as unfolding on those formats. But they're deceptions because they are imaginative constructs. So we have for the aesthetic the decision, I don't care, I don't really give a damn, I'm just going to live for the day. It's all immediate, but the joke is that's a reflective judgment to arrive at that conclusion. So that's the deception, that even in the attempt to be immediate, we're reflective. Second, there is the idea that we give ourselves the law, and that in giving ourselves the law, it's universal law. So we now stop being the universal and become, stop being the individual and become the universal. But we're not the universal, we're individuals. So that's the deception of the ethical. Now, the religious is even more interesting. The religious is the idea that somehow the individual stands higher than the universal, namely that the individual has what is called a teleological suspension of the ethical, that in relation to God there is a higher relation than merely being moral. Now, the point here is that this is also a deception because in the so-called teleological suspension of the ethical, and in imagining ourselves to be in a higher relation than to the ethical, we are saying, well, what is the ethical? The ethical is the Kantian moral law, which is self-made. So we are going to be both the ones who make the law, and we're also going to be the ones who stand above ourselves looking at the law. But that is to imagine ourselves as God, and that too is a deception. So the whole point in Kierkegaard is that the ways in which we represent to ourselves life are all abstractions. And what they lack is the concreteness of our lived experience. So Kierkegaard keeps reminding us that we can get lost in the deceptiveness of our abstractions, the deceptiveness of our representations about life, and become what he calls Philistines, namely more and more unlettered, more and more insensitive to the calling to be a child of God. That's what we're running away. We are all children of God, but we don't want to be children of God, so we invent ways around them. So that's what I wanted to say about Kierkegaard, and you will be looking at that in your group today with close reading, and we've added a couple of pages to help with the teleological suspension of the ethical. Then you will be going on to the video on materialism. Please pay particular attention to the aspects about Rerum Novarum, Leo XIII. Have a great day. Thanks.